What happened to Shanquella Robinson? It's been over a month since her death, and the law enforcement agencies of the two countries still can't tell us what caused it. People are starting to think there was foul play because it's clear that the FBI isn't doing enough to find her killer. And we all know that the case would have gone cold by now if it weren't for social media. Well, despite all the conspiracy theories going around about what really happened, new evidence suggesting that her death may have been planned before even going on the trip has come to light. And you're not going to believe the deets. But what has this new evidence uncovered? And does it finally tell us the truth about what went on that day?
When they got back from the trip with her luggage, what did they tell you happened to your daughter?
That she got sick from drinking. It was alcohol.
25-year-old Shanquella Robinson is the only daughter of Salamandra Robinson and Bernard Robinson. Born in 1997 in Charlotte, North Carolina, she was an ultra-successful entrepreneur, hairstylist, and social media influencer. With an estimated net worth of $500,000, Shanquella ran several successful business ventures in North Carolina, like a women's boutique called The Exquisite Boutique and hairstyling for kids. Shanquella also had a strong social media presence with more than 100,000 followers and frequently worked as a model, doing photo shoots in famous destinations like Los Angeles, Miami, Jamaica, and more. This is why Shanquella's death surprised many people and caused quite an uproar on social media. So much so that her fans and friends from the internet have been able to pressure the authorities to make them answer the all-important question of who killed her. But before we get there, we first have to answer the question of how she died. Well, you see, on October 29th, Shanquella was found dead in a hotel room in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. She had arrived there a day before with 6 of her acquaintances and, at the time, showed no sign of illness or injury. So where did it go wrong? According to reports, around 2:13 p.m. on the 29th, an American doctor from the American Medical Center arrived at the resort in Cabo after being told that a resident wasn't feeling too good. Around the same time, Shanquella's mother, Salamandra, received a phone call from one of her friends, claiming that Shanquella had alcohol poisoning and that a doctor was on her way to check on her. According to police reports, the doctor arrived within an hour and discovered a female in stable condition but dehydrated, unable to communicate properly, and appearing to be inebriated. The doctor then rushed to administer an IV drip to her, but suddenly her condition dropped and she began having a seizure at around 4:15 p.m. An ambulance was called later when Shanquella was having trouble breathing and her pulse began to drop. The ambulance arrived a few minutes later and the paramedics began trying to resuscitate Shanquella. But sadly, even after administering 14 bouts of CPR, the paramedics were unable to raise her vitals back up, and at 5:37 p.m., Shanquella sadly gave up the ghost. At first glance, this all made sense until law enforcement officials realized that, although all this information was written in the Cabo police reports, there were still some inconsistencies and loopholes in the reports. The first inconsistency came when they noticed that in the report, Shanquella's friends told the doctor that she had drunk a lot of alcohol. When the doctor then advised her to be taken to the hospital, her friends all quickly disagreed and asked for her to be treated in the resort's room. Apart from this, which was already a huge red flag, the Cabo police report states that the doctor arrived an hour after being requested and discovered Shanquella alive. However, an autopsy report showed that she had injuries in her spine and neck, which caused her to die just 15 minutes after having them. So apparently, the doctor couldn't have met her alive. A local news channel called the Charlotte Observer, which has also been more than instrumental to investigate, as they found some new evidence about the police report and the death certificate that might have just turned the case on its head. They discovered that in the box for information about whether the death was caused by accident or violence, the death certificate form suspiciously just said yes. They also discovered that the cause of death was not mentioned in the report. It just simply says, 911 was called due to a deceased person's cardiopulmonary arrest. Perhaps the most shocking turn of events is that neither the death certificate nor the report mentions anything about alcohol poisoning. So, definitely, someone has to be lying. But even with all this new evidence, the law enforcers have not made any notable progress in the case. They haven't even made a single arrest. Many people, like Shanquella's mom, Salamandra, believe that if it were not for the influence and pressure caused by Black Twitter and social media on the law enforcers, Shanquella would have been declared a cold case. But that's not all, because in recent weeks, brand new evidence has surfaced that not only proves Shanquella's death was premeditated, but was also done by someone close. You see, recently, a video of a black woman ruthlessly beating another woman in a hotel room surfaced on the internet. No one paid much attention to this video until Shanquella's family claimed that the lady in the video was none other than Shanquella. But that's not all, because, according to the family, Shanquella's wounds matched those of the woman in the video.
See that video, ma'am? Because my daughter's not a fighter, ma'am. She's not a fighter, not at all. For them to do what they did, ma'am, it just seemed like it was a plot, because they couldn't have did that over here, ma'am. They couldn't have did that over here, you know, where her friends, all her friends are.
So far, we've come to know that the video was filmed by Shanquella's so-called friend of 5 years. But perhaps what was most disturbing was the fact that no one bothered to stop the other woman from hurting Shanquella. In fact, all the man recording could say was, "At least fight back," as if he were trying to spice up his recording.
Quilla, can you at least fight back?
Even more scarily, the attacker could be heard in the video telling Shanquella to get up and fight, while Shanquella was helplessly sitting on the floor and receiving numerous blows from the attacker to her head and neck. But that's not all, because new evidence has emerged, raising a huge red flag with it. You see, a new video recently surfaced of Shanquella's male friend recording her while she slept in a hammock and saying, "First day, buddy."
First day, buddy.
The video would not have been creepy in and of itself, but the fact that the guy sounded exactly like the man from the first video and the fact that Shanquella died just 24 hours after the video was posted are enough to send chills down anyone's spine. The video set off so many alarms in people, with many people believing that Shanquella's own friends had set her up and caused her death. Sadly, despite all of this evidence, nothing has been done. Her mother even told NBC News that, if not for the people on the internet, the authorities would have let the case go cold. Her dad, Bernard, on the other hand, spoke with TMZ and confirmed that the family does believe her death was a setup and that Shanquella was most likely attacked in her sleep. Bernard would then sadly break down in the interview as he talked about losing his only child and hoping that justice would be served, saying that the people who did this to his daughter should be charged and serve time in Mexico, where the crime was committed. However, this might be a problem because, even though the FBI and Mexican authorities have opened an investigation, many believe the investigation will not be over soon because it is most likely a crime committed by American citizens on another American citizen in a foreign country and would need to go through the whole long and tedious extradition process. This does not sit right with people on social media and the Robinson family, as Salamandra posted a picture on IG with her and her daughter posing and captioned it, "I believe this all was planned. The people Shanquella went on a trip with have all been friends for over 10 years. Authorities have not informed me of any information due to the Shanquella case, but I was told the FBI is now questioning everyone from Cabo." In another post, Salamandra uploaded a picture of her daughter and captioned it, "Enough is not being done by the FBI to put the people who attacked Shanquella behind bars. I posted a photo of myself with Shanquella. I'm just trying to wait till someone is taken into custody. As of right now, the FBI is not providing any information. Attackers of Shanquella told me there was no fight that occurred in Cabo, Mexico, while staring me in the face." The family's plight has been taken up by social media users around the world, particularly members of the Black Twitter community, who have decided not to rest until justice is served, fearing that silence will result in a case being swept under the rug like every other black case. One Twitter user even said, "Don't worry, Shanquella Robinson, we're going to keep your name alive and get you justice, baby girl. Keep resting on peacefully." But what do you think? Is there something that the FBI knows and is trying to cover up? Was her death actually planned by the people she had called friends for years?
Yes, they took a life, ma'am. They took a life.